but you can't go around thinking of her 1,000 times when you think you see her face in the crowd. Now she's gone, no way of ever knowing. Don't cry for me, don't cry. Here's what she'd say. Don't cry for me, don't cry. No more shopping in the hall, only empty spaces. Brand new kitchens, black and white. I feel the house is dying, and I'm inside. Now she's gone, no way of ever knowing. Don't cry for me, don't cry. Here's what she'd say. Don't cry for me, don't Every time I think of you, I just break down. I miss you more than I ever could Here's what she'd say. She said, don't cry. Don't cry for me, don't cry. Here's what she'd say. Don't cry for me, don't cry. Oh no, don't cry for me, don't cry. She said, don't
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream Saturday. I hope that you've had a good start to your weekends, and it is still hot here in the UK, so I've got the fan on the go to try and keep me cool throughout the live stream. I don't think it's quite going to achieve it because, again, it's kind of just under 30 degrees in this particular room, so we will see how things get on throughout the live stream. I've got my bottle of water, so hydration will be fine, and we'll have to battle our way through it and see what happens. But anyway, good to see you guys in the live chat room tonight, and let's see who's in there. We've got Pauline, Constantia, Eric, Alison, Joyce, Julesy, Billy, Orlando, Corey, Jenny, Mark, Robert, Tammy, old Mr. B in the house again, Linda, Alison, Debbie, Desert Deluge, Bob's in there, Ginny, Paul, Tammy, Billy, and names going through again, and Diane in there. Hello guys, thank you for joining me tonight. Good to see you as always. And just mentioning, and old Mr. B's been in the last few live streams, I do believe, but we'll be doing something over on his channel, an interview at the beginning of next month, which is only, what, 2 or 3 weeks? I lose track of timings and where we are, but I can see on my screen that today's the 17th of June. So yeah, it'll be, what, 3 weeks time? Something like that. But as always, I'll keep you guys in the loop, not only on the live streams, but over on Patreon as well, for anything that I'm getting up to. At the end of this month, we have the Warning gig in London. And there's another thing that I might be working on in the future. And this is something that I did mention, I think, at the end of last year. But it's taken so long for things to kind of turn around and for me to get organised that it has been something that's been in the works since then. But there's a guitarist called Uli John Roth, who I've had contact with in the past, who watches the channel, and he actually contacted me at the end of last year about potentially doing a project together, or, you know, maybe me helping him with some of the stuff that he does. And I've made contact with him again today, and we might be working on something in the future. But as I said, I'll keep you guys in the loop. There's always stuff happening, and you know, things that just pop up from nowhere, so I just tried to keep ahead of it all, which we're just about managing to do at the moment. But I think probably after the next few weeks, everything will be a little bit easier and hopefully a little bit more under control. But talking about that, it is Father's Day tomorrow here in the UK, so literally in 50 minutes time technically. So because tomorrow I will be spending the day with family, it means that tomorrow night's analysis video, I'm going to have to get working on that. Actually, I've already started working on it, but I'm going to finish it off after tonight's live stream. So yeah, and then that will leave tomorrow night at least for me to be free to do all that kind of stuff. But yeah, each analysis video takes between 6 to 12 hours to put together. So this is why I've been trying to squeeze in as much as possible today and then after the live stream tonight. But then tomorrow will be Father's Day. So the plan is for us to have a barbecue, but typically I think the weather forecast for tomorrow is thunder and lightning, maybe heavy rain. Because it's been so hot here and because of the humidity, it's just something that comes with that kind of weather, which we're not really that used to. But yeah, it's just always the way that the only day that we decide, oh, it's Father's Day, let's have a barbecue, the weather might not be so good and we'll just have to, yeah, you can't have a barbecue indoors, so we just have to make do with whatever food is there and just cook it in a normal way. I don't know. So anyway, that's all going to be happening tomorrow. So yeah, keeping up to date with things and actually kind of trying to get ahead of things for tomorrow. But we will keep on with this live stream and get ourselves organized, because I need to get the names of my patrons up on screen, which is something that we always do because they make this all possible in the first place. A huge thank you to the lovely people at the bottom of the screen for making this possible, the analysis videos possible, the cover videos that I've done in the past as well, just everything that I do. You know who you are, and your support is massively appreciated, so thank you guys for that. Just, you know, supporting me on a daily basis, it is much appreciated. It's great in order to be able to, you know, interact with you guys on the live streams, that you guys turn up first of all in that live chat room. It's good to see the names going through, as I can see you guys going through. I can see Laurie says hi Suzanne, and a little wavy hand, so hi Suzanne, hi Laurie, thank you for tuning in. So let's get the let's get the likes goal and then get the likeometer up on screen to see where we're at. And true to form, as always happens, the likeometer moves at the beginning of the live stream, and no rhyme or reason to it, but there you go. Hopefully you can see the number. It is 166. So if you can leave a thumbs up as you come through the door, that would be much appreciated. We're aiming for, is it 305? It's a bit small on my screen to see, but it looks like 305, and we're at 166. So we've made a bit of a dent in it. I'd say, yeah, technically over halfway, which is always good because we're not halfway into the stream yet. But if, you haven't hit that thumbs up, that would be great. I know that there have been donations, and I can see those in the super chat window. There have been some over on PayPal. Thank you guys for those. As I always say, you don't have to donate. Just watching is great. Maybe hitting the thumbs up, leaving a comment, or just introducing yourself in that live chat room. That would be great. as well, so we can get to know each other and get used to each other's usernames. So yes, I mean, you don't have to donate. Watching is fantastic, but for some people, they can't resist donating. So for that reason, I put the percentages up on screen because I think it's important you know where your money goes. In the super chat window, between 35 and 45% goes to YouTube, and through the PayPal link in the description below, between 3 and 5% goes to PayPal. So you can decide how you want to do things if you can't resist donating. But yeah, just tuning in is fantastic. We're going to have a quick jump immediately into Picture Corner. So last time on the live stream, I did say that we're going to look at a picture, forgot to do it. So we're going to start out with Picture Corner tonight, and we're going to get is it up on screen? The Picture Corner should appear on screen with my best attempt at some elevator music going on in the background. But anyway, this is the picture that I was supposed to show in the last live stream, but I didn't show it. And here is Charlie modelling the Wings of Pegasus t-shirt and the Wings of Pegasus glass, and a good opportunity for me to plug the merchandise at the beginning of the live streams, because I always forget to do this. So thank you, Charlie, for uploading that picture, and Laura for linking me to it. And if you are interested in getting involved over on Facebook, if you are a Facebook user, then head to the Wings of Pegasus supporters group over on Facebook, join that group, and if you have any pictures of any merchandise that you're modelling, you can upload it there, and then I'll show it on the live streams. So thank you, Charlie, for that. And yes, if you've got a tray underneath this video, you can click on any of the merch there. It will take you through to the spring.com store, and there's a link in the description below as well if you want to do things that way, and click on the link in the description below. Here's a plug of the mug as well, just while I'm mentioning the merchandise. And top tip, the tumblers keep your drinks cool, which I have been using recently because it's been so hot. So fill up your tumbler with your beverage, whatever it is. Mine happened to be orange and pineapple squash, and then I just put loads of ice cubes in it and then put the lid on it, and it lasts for hours. And yeah, when you come to drink it, the ice is still in there. You can drink it, it's ice cold, and very refreshing indeed when things are just getting a bit too hot. Works the other way as well. When it's cold in winter, put your tea or your coffee in there and it keeps it hot. So yeah, it's great at keeping things insulated. Is that the way to describe it? Anyway, it keeps warm drinks warm and cold drinks cold. Anyway, yeah, 206 likes already. Thank you guys for hitting the thumbs up, and you can continue to do that if you want to. It means that we're looking for 99 more likes to hit the goal for tonight. And if we do hit the goal for tonight, which we have done, I think, for every live stream recently, the last one, or maybe the second to last one, we were really close because we actually started the FilJam and we kind of assumed that we'd hit the goal, and thankfully we did. So if we hit 305, then we'll have another FilJam tonight. And I think we're getting maybe to the end of this particular list. Where are we? There are 20, I think, in all, and we're up to number 16. So that'll be 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Well, technically 5, even though it's number 16. We've still got number 16 to go. So, yeah, if we hit that thumbs up and not too far to go, then we'll have the FilJam. I didn't have a vote as for whether we have the wah-wah pedal with the jam, but I am attempting to go through my line 6 amp rather than the Fender amp, so we'll see what happens with that. And it means that the wah-wah pedal is a little bit more straightforward and more easily accessible for me to be able to use, because I can use my pedal from the amp rather than having to use the crybaby wah-wah pedal that I have, which I obviously have to put between my guitar and the Fender amp. And then turning it on and off is a nightmare because I'm sat down, so applying enough pressure to, click it on and click it off is, a bit of a nightmare. Anyone who has a crybaby wah-wah pedal or wah pedal, I've always called it a wah-wah pedal, and yeah, some people just call it a wah or wah pedal. But anyway, I just like saying wah-wah. So yeah, engaging that, if you do have a crybaby, then you know exactly how much pressure you need to turn it on and turn it off. And I guess if you weigh a lot, or certainly if you weigh more than me, then it's probably easier to do. But I don't have a hell of a lot of body weight, so for me it's almost like I've got to jump on it to get it to engage. Yeah, from a seated position, it's really difficult to get enough pressure to achieve that. But yeah, like I said, through my amp is a lot easier. Anyway, getting into the donations very quickly. Paul donated $2. Thank you for that, Paul. And the message was, please spike them likes, all y'all. Have fun tonight. So thank you for that. Orlando donated $5 as well and says, I get to enjoy a full live stream. Spike the likes. So thank you for that, Orlando. And yes, Orlando is usually either off out somewhere watching a game of some sort, or eating. So I'm sure Orlando's probably eating at the same time as watching this live stream. But thank you for that, Orlando. And Donna has donated $4.99. Thank you for that, Donna. And the message is just a picture. It's the guy doing a dance of some sort, blowing on a party blower. I think that's what they're called in this country. I'm not sure. But thank you for that, Donna. Right. Just to jump into the PayPal window quickly, because there have been some donations on there. As you guys know, I do address every single donation, no matter when it comes through. So let me move that out the way so that I can see that this came in at 22 minutes past 9 yesterday. And this came in from Rebecca, who donated £15. Thank you for that, Rebecca. And yes, that was a straight up donation. And then Cindy donated £60. Thank you for that, Cindy. A very kind donation there. And by the way, guys, if you do accidentally click on the wrong button or type the wrong number, then just let me know and we can sort it out. It's absolutely fine. I can refund any accidental donations or donations that are slightly more than you were intending to donate. But thank you, Cindy, for this. And the message is, hi, Phil. I wish I could send you some of the cooler weather we are having here in Michigan, but I guess this will have to do. So thank you for that. Yes, actually yesterday and maybe the day before, yeah, it's getting so hot that the air conditioner really was the only option that I had in order to keep cool, because you're just kind of sitting there and, you know, it's almost like you're doing a workout, but you're not actually doing anything. It's just the heat. So yeah. The other thing that I have been saying about, you know, using the air conditioner is that in the UK at the moment, the energy prices are absolutely ridiculous. So I think it's pretty much the case that we're paying double what you would normally pay, or at least what we were paying last year. So, I mean, everybody in the UK is in exactly the same situation where you're running around the house turning off lights if you're not using them and unplugging things like the computer. Like in between, unfortunately, you know, I use a lot of electricity for, you know, what I do, like the live streams now. It's, you know, it's a computer, it uses quite a lot. But whenever I'm not using the computer, then, you know, I turn it all off at the walls and make sure that even, you know, screens that have the standby light on, they say, you know, to just totally unplug it all so you don't use energy, you know, on the screens when they're plugged in at the wall, but you're not actually using them. Sometimes they're on standby. So yeah, everybody's going through the same thing here. You know, the price of electricity and gas is just, yeah, ridiculous. And I think I've said this before about how the gas companies and, you know, the well, petrol, we call it here in the UK, but you call it gas over in the USA, about how they're making record profits, and everybody else, you know, basically the consumer, literally can't afford to buy, you know, the petrol to put in their cars to go to work because it's so expensive, because how, you know, everything's just increased in price. But people that are making record profits. So I've said before about how that imbalance has happened, how that should never be possible to happen, that, you know, people are literally having to choose between keeping their house in the winter, but now also in the summer, keeping their house cool, or keeping their house hot in the winter, and food. Actually, you know, having to just buy as little food as they can get away with surviving on, because the energy costs are so ridiculous. So yeah, it is all a bit crazy, and hence why, and thank you guys for the donations for me to be able to buy the little heater. It's a cooler that I use that isn't an air conditioning thing, but you put water in it and it at least blows out air that isn't just recirculating the hot air. It's at least a little bit cooler than the hot air, so it's something that I can use during the live streams and doing videos. But yeah, when things get really ridiculous, like a couple of days ago, then I just put on the air conditioner, stand in front of it for a little while, and then quickly turn it off. So yeah, I do have the little fan, which is just a USB type fan. So yeah, it's very small, but they call it a personal fan, so I just direct it at myself. And yeah, the moment it's under the desk to try and stop it from interfering with the microphone too much, because if it was on top of the desk, then it'll be really loud, and I try to kind of have it as far away as possible. But yes, crazy days at the moment, and definitely some cool weather from Michigan would be good. Just kind of blow it into the room. That would be great. But thank you, Cindy, for that. And Amy has donated £5 as well, so thank you for that, Amy. That is a straight up donation that came through a little bit earlier this afternoon. And Nicole donated £8.13, so thank you for that, Nicole. The message is, Phil, happy to see you again tonight. Good shape and pleasant week for you. Kisses and cheers. So thank you for that, Nicole. And Tammy has donated £10. Thank you for that, Tammy. The message is, hi Phil, congratulations on hitting 304,000 subscribers. That's amazing. What is the importance of cover songs? Hang on, am I just going through donations that we've already had? Hang on, that's the 13th. Okay, right. This is skipped. Yeah, this is skipped miles down the list. Okay, so I'm going to have to try and find when the most recent donation was. Okay, right. This is going to be really confusing now. I'm going to have to find. The last donation would have been on Saturday night, Sunday morning. Right, let's work our way through this. I'm going to keep going until we get to maybe one that's happened on a Sunday. And okay, right. Maybe. Okay, I'm just looking through this. Okay, Liz is talking about a pint for treadmill frustration. I know that that's going to be something that. Okay, right. So we go back to. Oh, wow, this is really mixed up the order, because I said about Tuesday or Saturday last week and then Tuesday. So now we want to go for before the live stream tonight. And it doesn't help that actually clicking on. I've said this before about in the emails, next means previous and previous means next. So it's always going in the wrong order. Right, okay, I can see that Deborah mentioned something about Jim Reeves. So that's got to be recent, because that was last night's analysis video. Roseanne and Nicole there. Let me have a look, going back. Brian's donation. I can't remember whether that was in the last live stream or not. But anyway, right. I think the one that I just mentioned from Tammy, typically, was the one before the new ones. So let's get into this. Brian donated £10. Thank you for that, Brian. I think we're now going to be up to date, because that was on Thursday. So theoretically, we should be fine. Nicole donated £16.23. Thank you for that, Nicole. And the message was, hi Phil, yesterday I visited a castle in the south of France from the city walls. I sent you my best greetings with you now for the live stream. Kisses and cheers. So thank you for that, Nicole. And the next one from Roseanne was for £5. So thank you for that, Roseanne. The message is, hi Phil, thanks for all you do. My question, do you have a favourite jazz performer, either vocalist or instrumentalist? So thank you for that, Roseanne. And I mean, the kind of music that I'm into, I never really got into jazz, and I have never really got into jazz. You know, I appreciate it, especially, you know, some of the guitarists that we've looked at on the channel in the past, like, you know, Wes Montgomery, for example, and Django Reinhardt, you know, going all the way back. You know, George Benson as well. You know, there are lots of players that we've looked at who, you know, I appreciate, obviously, for their playing ability, their level technically of playing, and often, you know, their ability to throw together actually, you know, really technical passages with techniques that I know that people only really put the spotlight on, alternate picking and, you know, even sweep picking and things that I definitely associate with the 80s, and guitarists who were doing things technically with lots of distortion on their sound. But then when you look back at the old jazz players and then the country players, they were already doing that kind of stuff. About where are we now? 2023. So yeah, probably 100 years ago, 90 years ago. The great jazz players were already doing all these kinds of techniques. So yeah, it's really impressive from that standpoint. But I think probably because of the way that I play the guitar, the thing about jazz that hasn't really appealed to me is that it is, a lot of it is pre-rehearsed in terms of you've got to know all the changes of all of the chords, and you're literally just playing triads of chords, and you're playing a triad, or you're already thinking about triads before you even go to your next chord. Whereas for me, I like to just play whatever I'm singing over the top of the backing in my head. So I'm not kind of working stuff out beforehand. As you guys know, with these live streams and the FilJams, we just put on a backing track and play along to it. And I try my best to kind of play notes that I'm singing over the top of whatever I'm hearing. Regardless of the genre of what that backing track is, I think that you can pretty much just sing along to anything. And that's how I approach my playing. Whereas with jazz, there can be a multitude of different changes that are actually seemingly random, but they're not random because they're all pre-rehearsed. So it means that everyone knows that this next major seventh chord is going to be where it is. So you can already jump up to that and play notes without even having to sing them, because you know that you're playing, a major seventh shape, or all the notes that you're playing are from that scale. So yeah, you don't have to really think about that. A lot of it is, especially when you start playing quickly and throwing together a lot of lines that might, have lots of semitones thrown in there. A lot of that, that's not singing through the guitar, it's learning to play particular runs over particular chords. And I've never really done that. I've never sat down and, gone through sweep picking arpeggios and just working out lots of lines in lots of different chords. And I know that a lot of people teach that way, that say, right, in order to play lead guitar, you've got to know all your triads, and you've got to know all of your chord shapes, and know your major seventh arpeggios, and play through. Whereas I've never really been into that. I just think that if you know your instrument well enough, you can play over any backing, not even knowing the chords, because you should be singing through your guitar. It's like a voice. So that's the way that I've approached playing. So when I kind of looked at jazz and thought, I've got to learn everything first. Why can't I just kind of sing with it? So even playing over some of the, the jazz backing chords, jazz fusion backing tracks that we've done, you can still, do your best at playing along with it and singing along with it. You don't have to work it all out. But yeah, it's just two different ways of playing the guitar, kind of the subconscious way of having just worked everything out and just let your hands muscle memory go through it all, knowing all the chords beforehand, or the conscious way of coming up with stuff constantly. And that's why, I'm very much into blues players and, guys like Eric Clapton, who can just play endless runs all the time that he's just coming up with on the fly, because he's singing through his guitar. He's not playing, for 5 or 6 minutes, just repeating lines of a 5 or 6 minute track that he's learnt. He's just doing it on the fly. So yeah, not really into, but just those jazz players that I've mentioned, I'll have to kind of throw them in there because, like I said, I can appreciate their playing ability on that level. And great jazz guitarists can do what I'm talking about, that literally chop and change what they're playing. But you will find, for the most part, that if you jam with a jazz guitarist who isn't kind of at the top level, and you don't tell them the chords, and I have had that in the past. We've just gone into a jam with a very technically proficient guitarist and jazz player, but he said, well, hang on, what are the chords going to be? And I said, well, we'll just make it up as we go along. And he said no, and he kind of refused to play. He said, no, you've got to tell me the chords, because he needed the chords to know where, which notes he could push down on the fretboard. So yeah, for me, that was quite eye-opening, because I was only maybe 19 years of age, and I'd only learned to play one way of just playing along with whatever I heard. But for him, yeah, because he was really theory based, so he needed to know every single chord so that he could then play the right notes. It's like if I was to play him a chord, he'd say, well, I don't know which ones to press on the fretboard until you tell me which notes I'm allowed to do, and I know where they are. So yeah, interesting, but totally different ways of playing. And everyone's different. This is what I say on the not only the live streams but the analysis videos. Everyone's different. That's why music is so interesting, because people approach it in totally different ways. But thank you, Roseanne, for that question and the donation. Quite a long answer to that, so apologies for that. Deborah has donated £50 as well. Thank you for that, Deborah. And the message is, hi Phil, you did such a lovely and wonderful analysis on Jim Reeves. Have you ever been asked to teach a music class at a university level? You are amazing. Love you, Debbie. So thank you for that, Debbie. And I was contacted by a teacher or lecturer. I'm not sure what you call them. We call them teachers here, but I guess lecturer is the same thing at university. But they lectured at the Juilliard School in New York, and they watched the channel, and they they said, oh, we'd be really interested for you to come and talk about music to the students. But they said, where are you based? And I said, oh, I'm in the UK. And we just had to accept that, it would be quite a long journey in order to do that, just for one class. But I mean, that was great, because I mean, that's one of those places. I mean, it is a prestigious school, and I think I've mentioned it in quite a few analysis videos about artists who have studied there and then gone on to become, great musicians and, songwriters as well. So I mean, that was great for that little bit of feedback, that somebody that actually teaches and lectures there watches the channel and gets something out of the channel. So I mean, that's kind of a lot of my approach is from that educational perspective. If I can mention something about the performance that we're watching that anyone can get something out of, then that's great. But especially if people who are in the professional music circle, or whether they're an artist themselves, or an instrumental themselves, or a lecturer, or whatever, if they can get something out of my videos as well, then it's great. Because I think there's a lot of there's a lot of things that are missed out, especially if you are studying music. I mean, I didn't study music, I've just been doing it a hell of a long time, and the reason I say that there's a lot that's left out, because for people that study music, when you then go out and perform, or you now want to be a session musician, for example, there's a lot to it that you don't necessarily appreciate being in a classroom or just practicing your instrument, because now you've got to gel well with other players, and there's a whole nother side of it, of your personality, what you're like, communicating with other people, and whether you can communicate with other people musically, whether you can do what they want you to do and give the right expression to your playing. So there's kind of one side of it, of learning the technical side of playing an instrument, but then there's playing an instrument with expression and getting the expression out of your instrument that somebody wants. It's a whole nother thing. And then you've got the approach of playing live, and being self-aware of how to play dynamically and how to not overplay in a particular situation. So there are loads of things that I think you pick up from playing live and just learning to play an instrument. Also teaching, because I've been teaching for almost 20 years, that also helps, because you get to see hundreds, if not thousands, of different players of different levels, but you can start to see things that people have in common that they struggle with, and the best way to approach teaching people to improve at whatever they're doing, whether that is playing the guitar or singing. So I'm very lucky that I've had that background as well, not only performing but being able to teach. But anyway, thank you for that, Debbie. And we have another donation from Tammy that was for £10, so thank you for that, Tammy. And Steve has donated £5. Thank you for that, Steve. The message is, how do you deal with changes trying to sneak into the way you play things over time? So thank you for that, Steve. And I'm just going to read that again. How do you deal with changes trying to sneak into the way you play things over time? I'm not sure whether this is about playing guitar, but I'm going to assume it's to do with something that's happened recently, which is why I missed the video on Wednesday night. is that a company was supposed to come and pick something up, and I think I mentioned before in a donation it said about a treadmill. I thought, right, because I'm so busy doing everything on a day-to-day basis, I haven't got time to, go to a gym and also, pay for a gym membership, all that kind of stuff. If I haven't got time to go to the gym, I thought, right, well, I'll buy a compact treadmill. And I say compact, it's like the size of a normal treadmill, but it's quite thin, and it doesn't have anything. Normally on a treadmill you have like a display and all that kind of stuff. This doesn't have that. It's just something you put on the ground, and it's just a conveyor belt that goes around as a treadmill is, but just something that I can run on, so I don't have to go out anywhere to run. So if I think, right, I want to do a 15-minute run, if I have a 15-minute window somewhere, I can literally put it on the floor and do a run for 15 minutes. So anyway, I thought I'd order that because it was on a special offer as well. I thought, right, let me strike while the iron's hot, and they sent me a pink one. I definitely didn't order a pink one. So I opened it up and thought, oh. So anyway, contacted the company, and then first of all, I mean, this is going to spend ages talking about it. It's going to take ages talking. First of all, they said, can we give you £30 compensation? And I said, yes, that's fine. When do you want to pick up this one and send me the one that I ordered? And they said, oh no, the £30 is to keep the pink one. And I said, I didn't order a pink one. This isn't the one that I ordered. Anyway, so can I have the right one? And that's not in pink. And they said, right, okay, we'll organise. And this is 3 weeks ago. They said, we'll organise somebody to come and pick it up. And I thought that they would send me the one that I ordered while they're organising to pick it up. But that hasn't happened. And it's still been now over 3 weeks. And I haven't got the one I ordered. And finally, was it yesterday or the day before? Finally, after 3 weeks and 5 attempts of them saying that I wasn't in when I was in, I know that I was in because I'm in all the time. So yeah, they said on 5 separate days that they'd missed me, that I wasn't in. So yeah, trying to get in contact with the company was a nightmare, and both companies, because they're both automated. So it means that no matter how you try and do it, you get into a loop of never talking to anybody. It's always a computer voice on the phone, or the support page, which you fill out the form and everything, and then every time you get an immediate reply that says, we aim to reply within 24 to 48 hours. And that even is the case when they'd sent me a message and said, okay, let us know when we can pick it up, and I'll literally reply within a couple of minutes saying, okay, right, well, Wednesday's fine to organise it for. And then you get the reply saying, we aim to reply within 24 to 48 hours. So then I'd have to wait sometimes 2 days to get a reply, even though I've instantly replied to what they're saying. So yeah, the customer service is absolutely awful, and I'm still waiting. So now I have nothing. So fingers crossed I'll actually get the thing that I ordered over 3 weeks ago. So yeah, anyway, Wednesday I spent all day waiting for them to arrive to pick up, because they'd missed 5 days, and I was kind of looking out the window to see if a truck pulled up. It'd be really obvious, because where I live, it's really obvious if somebody pulls up in a massive truck to pick something up. But again, on Wednesday, I waited all day, and then I got the message through via email saying, we missed you, you weren't in. So again, I had to go through the whole process, and it meant that I couldn't do my analysis video, which was really annoying because, yeah, as I've said, it takes 6 to 12 hours for me to do a video. So when I spend 4 or 5 hours looking out a window for a truck and then it doesn't turn up, obviously it's just an amount of time that I can't afford to lose. So as to how I deal with that, I can't really deal with that other than just not do a video, because that whole afternoon I would have spent making a video and I couldn't. So it's just time that I've unfortunately lost. And the thing about Father's Day tomorrow is that I can just about squeeze in after tonight's live stream. It just means that I have a late night, but I can just finish off the video that I started today. And actually I did a little bit of it yesterday after my video that I did on Jim Reeves. So yeah, in order to try and sneak in more time to do things, I just literally squeeze in and don't spend time on emails, and I try and catch up with those. So it just means that it's a little bit more hardcore over the next few days, just catching up with things. So yeah, there's not a very good way for me to deal with things that pop up that I'm not expecting in my diary, and that's just the way that it is. So that's why I try to organise everything a few weeks in advance in the diary. So if I have anything going on, I can book it in there, and I know it's definitely going to happen. So then if anything else happens or pops up, then I have to cancel and say, unfortunately, I've had this booked in for 2 or 3 weeks. So that's kind of how I approach it, try to get as organised as possible. But anyways, thank you for that, Steve. And Liz has donated £5.50. Thank you for that, Liz. The message is, go buy yourself a pint for all the treadmill frustration. So thank you for that. And yes, I will have a pint of squash, orange and pineapple, or maybe summer fruit squash, or maybe some grape juice, but there's quite a lot of sugar in that, so maybe orange juice, but again, quite a lot of sugar. So I'll go for this. I don't drink alcohol, I just don't like it. So thank you for that. I'll have a pint of squash. Right, Liz has donated £2 as well. Again, thank you for that, Liz. The message is, on your album Persistence, what instruments do you play? Do you do backing vocals also? So yes, I do everything apart from the drums on my album, because I got James Knowlesy, as he was referred to in my band, to do the drums, because I prefer the way that he plays drums to how I play drums. So yes, I do everything on my album apart from drums. So on the cover videos, I do everything. So thank you for that, Liz. So yeah, that includes I sing the lead vocal and then the harmony vocals and play the guitars, and yeah, do the keys and all that kind of stuff. So everything apart from drums. Orlando's donated £5. Thank you for that, Orlando. The message is, have you ever listened to heavier sounds like Unmerciful Fate, Metallica, Iron Maiden, or even Killswitch Engage to educate yourself on rhythms or melodies? I'm just curious. So thank you for that, Orlando. And not really, I'd say probably out of those two, well, I'm looking at Metallica and Iron Maiden as the bands, or the two bands that I'd consider maybe being seen on the metal side of things, or like the 80s metal rather than kind of hard rock, just that little step further. And I'd say that, yeah, those two are probably listened to the most out of the bands that you've mentioned. But I've never really listened to bands to, you know, get better at rhythms or melodies. I pretty much just, you know, figured it out myself, or just, you know, once you get used to, you know, different time signatures, just counting along. I mean, I'm not hugely into overcomplicating time signatures, and maybe just throwing in, you know, a 5/4 bar now and again, but keeping it 4/4. I like things are pretty straight ahead, you know, being the fact that, you know, I'm into kind of melodic rock, hard rock, and not as much progressive rock, but even, you know, some of the progressive stuff, you know, Dream Theater, you know, I mean, they're a good example of a progressive band that are, you know, almost like melodic hard rock as well. And, you know, you will get odd time signatures popping up in their music, which I do enjoy, but I haven't listened to those bands to try and, you know, get better at time signatures. It's just something that I think once you start counting along, you can pretty much figure it out, you know, straight away. If you got, you know, you're tapping your foot along to something, and then you realise, oh, we've missed it there, so there's got to be an extra beat in that bar, and then you just count it along the next time, and you can figure out exactly where you are with the time signatures. So yes, I have listened to most of all, yeah, Metallica, Iron Maiden, and yeah, pretty much that's as heavy as my tastes got. But I'd say I'd probably move away from that into melodic hard rock, and then maybe, yeah, hard rock. As I don't know, in the 80s the hard rock sound tended to still have harmony vocals in there, which is something that I do like about melodic hard rock. So yeah, when I say that, even metal, you know, 80s metal, when you talk about bands like Metallica and Iron Maiden, you still had, you know, even though it's a heavier vocal, wider vibrato, you still had melodies that had, you know, harmony lines with the vocal melodies. So it's still something that appealed to me. But then kind of getting into vocals that are more kind of shouted and then screamed, and with a lot of distortion on the vocal that isn't necessarily hitting melodies with harmony vocals, that's kind of, I'd say, a little bit heavy for my taste. So that's why I tend to, I don't know, go for songs that have got just that lead vocal with a harmony vocal or two in there. But thank you for that, Orlando. And Laura has donated £10 and says, have you tried the new Treadmill yet? So thank you for that. And it hasn't been delivered yet, but I'll let you guys know as soon as it is and as soon as I have a go on it. And yeah, hopefully I won't injure myself. But this is it, that I'll probably start running first and then, maybe get into potentially doing a little bit of resistance training, but I'm still waiting for my arm to get fully back to normal. But it is getting better. So, thank you for that donation, Karen, for £25. And Laura previously. Sue's donated £15 as well. So thank you for that, Sue. That's a straight up donation. And John has donated £30, so thank you for that, John. And the message is, Phil, thanks for what you do. Not sure you heard, but after 6 years, Tina S has resurfaced. She updated her profile picture, knowing she's okay, plus the incredible reception the warning has received in Europe made my year. Phil, wishing you the best and good luck with the weather. So thank you for that, John. And I didn't know that Tina S has resurfaced, but that's good news. And a lot of people asked me about Tina S, and you know how, I mean, this one person kind of kept on saying that she's died and all this kind of stuff, and I wasn't sure. I say, well, I can't take somebody else's word for it. When people ask me to explain, do I know what had happened to her after her YouTube videos, I said that at the time, I mean, I looked at that years ago, Tina S's video, but I mean the one that I did an analysis video on, but I said, for me, it strikes me like, I mean, she had some videos that were huge on YouTube. And when you have videos that are very popular on YouTube, you're going to get trolls, unfortunately. And, Tina was very young and started playing at a very young age. So when you're my age, thankfully I was around before the internet. So I know that the internet, the people that write things on there, I don't know who they are, so their opinions don't really bother me at all. But for somebody who's very young, being messaged all the time by trolls, will be stressful and not very good for a person's mental health when they are young. And just playing guitar so much, people don't realise the amount of practice it takes to get to Tina's kind of level is literally, it's a life choice, or it's a way of life. Something that reminded me when I was talking to Morris about Prince, but it's the way of life. You wake up, you eat, and you play guitar, and then you do what, if you have to go to school, you have to go to school, but then when you get home from school, you play guitar, and that is your life for years, for 6 years, for 8 years, for 10 years, you're doing nothing but playing the guitar. So I said, I wouldn't be surprised if she just wants a break, not only from the trolls, but from playing the guitar, because it might have been the case, which I can't confirm, but I think when you're that young and you play the guitar that much, sometimes as a child you don't really get a choice in it. It might be something that your parents or your family want you to do, so they kind of push you to do it. And once you're 16 or 18, you might realise, actually, I want to do other stuff in life other than play the guitar. And for me, music, playing the guitar is all about enjoyment. So you've got to find the balance to how much you enjoy doing and how much is too much, taking time away from other things that you want to do with your life. So I think as long as you approach playing the guitar and music in general from the point of view of enjoyment, then you can't go wrong, because then you'll never do too much. You're only ever doing as much as you enjoy. So it's different with that family dynamic, and there have been occasions where young children, and I've mentioned this in a video actually, where I said about ethically looking at 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds who are technically great at playing. My problem that I have with that is kids of that age don't have a choice. They don't have, especially when they're 5 years old, they haven't gone up to their parents and said, oh, mum and dad, I really want to learn how to be a technically fantastic guitarist, because that's just something within me, something that I want to do. It's pretty much always the case that the parents, especially when you're talking really young, are making the children do that because they want to put the videos on YouTube, get millions of views, and make money from their kid being on YouTube. So for me, I'd say probably at maybe 8 or 9 years of age, that's old enough, I think, for a kid to want to do it, to have that I don't know, developed mind to think, right, I'm understanding stuff about life, and I've gone out and I've played with my friends, and we play football, we play computer games, all that kind of stuff. I enjoy that, but I really want to get better at playing the guitar. That's something that I want to pursue. So I think when a kid has had experience of life and playing with friends and all that, then they can make that decision, and in that case it's fine. It's when they're really young that I think is a little bit dodgy, because I don't know the background behind it, and just from my experience as a guitar teacher, I know that kids under the age of 8 or 9 generally aren't making their own decisions as to wanting to get technically great at playing the guitar. They might want to play the guitar, just strum a chord. Like my nephews, they will just want to strum a chord and hit the strings, but they don't want to learn to sweep pick arpeggios. That's not on their radar at that age. So kids that are doing that kind of stuff, for me is a little bit kind of borderline, just from that ethical point of view. But anyway, thank you, John, for letting me know. And yes, I mean, who knows in the future? I mean, it'd be great to have a chat with Tina if she is around in the future, but also just to get her view on playing the guitar and maybe the reasons for that break. But for me, I think it's great for people to take a break, especially when things go a little bit crazy at such a young age. Just to take a step back and look after yourself. But thank you, John, for that. And Liz donated £1 saying, I sent 2 donations tonight, the pint one and a question about your album. So thank you for that, Liz. And yes, so that's 3 now. But yes, I did address those. So thank you for that, Liz. And it's 5 to 1 here in the morning. So we've just been chatting along. And we have, just while I've been, thank you guys for the questions, by the way. While I've been chatting, we've hit the likes goal. But if you can keep on hitting that thumbs up, that would be great. We are going to be having the FilJam after tonight's cover video, which was between You Give Love a Bad Name and Hotel California. I'm going to leave that open for maybe a minute. If you want to hit either of those two, I can actually just see that it changed while I was talking to Hotel California, so it's 50-50. Whichever of those songs you want to see, make sure you hit that or click on. The vote is still on Hotel California, so it might be that's the closest it's ever been. And I'm going to end the poll now. It might be Hotel California, who knows. Is probably doing the final count, and it literally was just Hotel California before I ended the vote for tonight's cover video. So I mentioned this in the last live stream, as you guys know, about this video now being allowed on YouTube. It was unblocked by Don Henley and his team, so thank you to him. And yes, the other one, You Give Love a Bad Name, was the collaboration that I did with Cena, who plays drums, has a very popular drum channel here on YouTube. But we are going to be jumping into Hotel California. Of course, it's going to be my version of it. And if you're watching this on catch up, by the way, you can hit that thumbs up. It really does help this live stream to get out there. But for the channel to grow on the whole, we'll have a watch of this, and then we'll jump into the FilJam, because we have hit the target, which is great. I'll catch you guys after this. Rock.
On the dark desert highway, the cool wind in my hair, warm smell of colitas rising up through the air. Overhead in the distance, I saw a shimmering light. My head grew heavy and my sight grew dim. I had to stop for the night. There she stood in the doorway. I heard the mission bell. And I was thinking to myself, this could be heaven or this could be hell. Then she lit up a candle and showed me the way. There were voices down the corridor. I thought I heard them say, said, we're all just prisoners here of our own device. And in the master's chambers, they gathered for the feast. They stab me with their stealing knives, but they just can't kill the beast. Last thing I remember, I was running for the door. I had to find the passage back to the place I was before. Relax, said the night man, we're programmed to receive. You can check out anytime you like, but you may never leave.
And there we have it. That was my version of Hotel California. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. And yes, I'm not sure. Obviously, you know, over and across YouTube, there are some people that have done, you know, various Eagles tunes, and they have been blocked on copyrights. But like I said, I don't know. You know, some people, you know, say to me, oh, how did you get your Hotel California cover unblocked? And I didn't do anything. All I got was that message saying that it's been independently, you know, reviewed, and it's you know, been decided, or the action's been taken to remove the block on the video. So yeah, I don't know anything other than that. I don't know any secrets for getting songs or cover, you know, videos out there and not getting them blocked. And I know that, yeah, you know, Don Henley's very strict with all that kind of stuff. But like I said, having the surname Henley probably helped. I don't know, or maybe it's, I think because the cover, I mean, it might help that the cover is quite close. I kept it quite close to the original, and with the guitar lines, you know, I wasn't kind of suddenly shredding lots. I was just trying to, you know, play relatively close to what was on the original, because I think when a song's that good and that successful, then you don't want to kind of mess around with it too much, other than do your own version of it within those kind of parameters. So yeah, I don't know any secrets for that, unfortunately. But anyway, yes, 338 likes and 339 as I say that. Thank you guys for hitting that thumbs up. You can continue to do that if you haven't hit your thumbs up yet. That would be great and much appreciated. By the way, we've had another donation or two or three. Let me have a look. It is Fred who donated $5. Thank you for that, Fred. This is in the super chat window, by the way. And the message is doing Jim Reeves. Now that's diversity in music, by the way. It's one of Ginny White's favourites, with a thumbs up. So thank you for that, Fred. And yeah, I mean, we get loads of requests on the channel for lots of different genres, different styles of, you know, playing guitar wise. But yeah, anything that's on the list we load up, and we have a look at the live performances, and then I just point out what I can point out. But I do find them all very interesting, and it means that I do sometimes get to see artists that I wouldn't necessarily, actually know in the first place, but then whose music that I wouldn't have listened to, in the first place. And the thing about Jim, I hadn't really spent any time listening to his music, but then when I looked into it, and this is what I do for every video, that if there's somebody that I don't know a lot about, I will look into it and check out their music, but also their history and their story. And with Jim, finding out about how popular he was in Europe and the UK, and the fact that there are things that you can refer back to in this country that with country artists, that's rarely the case. That I'm always kind of looking at their US releases, and actually having any kind of publicity or success in Europe or the UK is rare. So it's great that he was so popular and had that crossover appeal that I mentioned in that video. But thank you for that, Fred. And Donna's donated $1.99, says happy Father's Day to all our dads. So thank you for that, Donna. And Green Fairy 1537 has donated $5. Thank you for that. I think that's what that says, and it's a person saying incredible. So thank you for that. Orlando's donated $5. Thank you for that, Orlando. The message is, in the US, university or college teachers are called professors, I believe. Okay, so we definitely don't call them professors here. A professor is like somebody who does like sciencey things like chemistry with test tubes and all that kind of stuff, and all the different experiments. So that's what we call professors. Here I think we call them just lecturers or teachers. Marsha's donated $10 as well. Thank you for that, Marsha. And the message is number one fan, with a guy jumping up and down with the arms. So well, with the arms going up and down as well. Thank you for that, Marsha. Right, so we are going to be jumping into the FilJam, but I can see that there's been another donation. And this is going to be what's the time? Is that 6 minutes or 8 minutes past midnight? Maybe it's 6 minutes. It's difficult to see, but anyway. Thank you for this, Orlando. Donation of £5, and I can see that there's questions here. Quick 2 questions. What is the reason some guitarists keep more than one guitar on stage? Okay. Does it have to do with tuning? So yes, a guitar. Sometimes I actually got asked this yesterday, the day before, about guitars that have 2 necks on them. Similar kind of thing. That you'll have one guitar neck that is tuned differently to the other, and generally the reason for it is you have one guitar neck that is tuned in standard tuning for audio standard playing where you're fretting notes, and on the other neck you'll be in open string tuning for slide playing. That's generally what people do when they play slide guitar. And if they've got 2 necks, but similar kind of thing when you've got 2 guitars, you might have one guitar that's tuned in standard, another guitar that's been used for slide playing, or you could even have 2 guitars that are tuned standard, but maybe with one of them that's been taken down a semitone or a tone, because generally when you're talking about just dropping D, for example, that's really easy to do yourself, so you don't generally need 2 guitars for that. But when you are talking about detuning a whole guitar by a semitone or a tone, or a half step or a step, as it's also referred to as, that means that doing that live would take ages. So that's why having another guitar you can just pick up and go with is a lot better. So obviously acoustics as well. An acoustic isn't an electric, so if you've got a song that is an acoustic guitar or a 12-string guitar, you will need that guitar. You'll always need to swap between those 2. But if you've got 2 electric guitars, then it'll be the change in tuning. So and the message is, continues. Okay, that was 2 in 1. Laugh out loud. 2. What is the benefit of using a capo on a guitar fretboard? So using a capo means that you now potentially don't have to do bar chords. So where you'd normally play an A shape, on the fretboard on your 5th fret with the 1st finger going across, and having to hold all those strings down, if you put a capo there, you can just play your E shape and you don't have to do bar chords. So that's one reason that they're used for people that aren't particularly good at bar chords. But another reason that they're used is for keeping the sound of open string chords, so that the chords ring out more because you're not having your fingers on any of the strings, or at least allowing more strings to ring out. So sometimes that's more desirable to have open string chords. If you're playing fingerstyle, you know, it's nice to have as well, but it just depends on what you're playing. But yeah, those are really the two reasons and the two benefits for using them. One, you then get rid of having to do bar chords. I mean, generally, if you can do bar chords well, then you shouldn't really need a capo because you can play it all with your hands. But if there are very specific chords that you physically can't reach because your hand isn't big enough, or it's just, you know, a very weird voicing of a chord, then you can use a capo that's effectively now taking the place of where your finger would be, and you can move really high up the fretboard, and obviously you don't have to stretch down that far because the capo is doing that work for you. So yeah, those are the two reasons. Right, let's get into tonight's FilJam. Thank you, Stardust Unicorn, for that $1.99 donation as well. I think it's a picture of maybe an apricot or a peach or something. So thank you for that. Right, jumping over into what number? 16. Tonight's. Okay, this is 5 minutes and 21 seconds in length. I clicked on it. I clicked on it a bit early. Right. It's an advert, so I'm gonna have to watch that whole advert while that is playing. And I'll grab the guitar. Now, as for what this is going to sound like, I'm not sure, because I've now got the fan on in the background, so it means that I might not be able to hear what I'm playing. And the tuning is going to be a nightmare. It could potentially be a nightmare because of the difference in temperature that's going on in this room all the time. But let's click on that. And thank you again, Joe, for sending these tracks my way. And this is Shred Ballad backing track in A minor line / SZBT 298, and this is from the YouTube channel Sebastian Zanino, and that's Sebastian with an E, Sebastien, and Zanino is Zunino. So yeah, you can check out this channel if you want to play along yourselves after this, or if you want to play along at the same time. Let's get into it and see what the levels are like. I can't hear what the levels are like, so it's just going to be a bit random. Hopefully I can hear it. Okay. Oh, chair up. Try not to smack everything on the desk. Okay, right, we are ready. It's a short backing track, so I've got to get on with it. Can you hear it? Can you hear? Let me know. Can't see it with the same. Major. we're going to finish. Oh, it's a fade out. Okay, that's the end. Oh, that's a shame. Why is it always that the backing tracks that have got chord changes in there and almost like, you know, like a verse and a chorus, and there's bits like there, you know, when we start getting major from the minor, you know, it's a really interesting backing track, but it only lasts for 5 minutes. So by the time you're starting to get into it and kind of thinking about different ideas, then that's the end of it. And unfortunately, yeah, only 5 minutes. But those are the kind of backing tracks that you could play for like 10 minutes or 12 minutes. I think we had one that was just 2 chords for about 12 minutes before. So yeah, it's a shame that they don't last for very long. Maybe somebody needs to, or maybe on the you know, channel, he can maybe put it back to back just a few more times, maybe like a couple of times, you know, 10 minutes would be great. So anyway, I was expecting something different there actually, because I think it said shred or A minor shred or something. So I was expecting to kind of, you know, go a little bit crazy, but it wasn't crazy at all. It's very melodic in the end, which is great. So anyway, here we are. It's almost 20 past midnight here, and I can see that Ro is saying do it again. So yeah, I mean, maybe we can mark this one to do again in the future. Maybe, yeah, Joe could put this one in the list again in the future, and then I'll just do another one to it, because it's, yeah, it is a bit late here, and I've got to do my video for tomorrow night tonight, so it means that I've got to get cracking on with that. So we're going to call things to a close now, but thank you guys for tuning in, and yeah, back here again tomorrow night with another analysis video. Going to be streaming as always on Tuesday night, same time, same place, 11 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 2300 hours if you like things in that format. But I'm going to be here on Tuesday night, so if you guys can join me then, that'd be great to see you. Thank you for tuning in, for hitting the thumbs up. If you want to get involved over on Facebook, if you are a Facebook user, and join in with the Wings of Pegasus supporters group over on Facebook, then you can join that group and get involved. Continue the conversation over there with these lovely people in the live chat room. So thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you at tomorrow night's video, and then I will catch you on Tuesday night if you can make it, because I will be there. Have a great rest of your weekend, and a great Father's Day, as it is here tomorrow. I'm not sure if that's a universal thing around the world, but it is certainly here in the UK. So for those of you that are doing something for Father's Day, have a great day. As I always say, try to stay as safe and as sane as possible in this crazy world in which we live in, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!